Hey everyone, welcome to The More You Know, The Better It Tastes, the podcast of San Antonio restaurants and the flavors of Texas. I am here with my business partner.
Hey, I'm Alan Williams, and I am so glad to be here today. We have some big shots today.
We have some amazing guests today.
This is going to be fun.
Yes, it is. I'm so excited.
Yes. So first of all, we want to welcome Jeff Balfour. Mm-hmm. He is one of the owners of the Southerleigh group of restaurants, which everyone in San Antonio loves. Man, you guys have brought so many smiles to San Antonio. And also we have Michael Joergensen. Now, Michael is with Pearl. Mm-hmm. You're a Pearl employee, right?
Or yes, that's correct.
Okay, I always get confused because your marketing company kind of sometimes you team up and everything. So we want to talk about the Pearl because, man, what a great place. And you always have something new coming on, so we thought we need to get somebody here that can tell us what's happening there.
Well, and also Pearl has become such a destination for culinary, for the culinary scene here in San Antonio.
Yes.
I mean, we'll get into it, but man, the amount of things that are happening there, pretty crazy.
Putting San Antonio on the map.
Yeah, for sure.
How does that feel? That you're kind of one of the key people in putting San Antonio on the map for culinary-wise. I mean,
well, we've always wanted for Pearl to be a place where the city comes together, right? Where no matter you've lived here your whole life or you've lived here for 2 days, that you can come and participate in community. And we think the best way to do that with people is over food, right? You can always break bread together, learn about other people, other cultures, learn their stories over a meal. Yeah. And that was originally the design of Pearl, 20 plus years ago. And so to see what it's turned into is amazing. It's really fun to be part of it on a daily basis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll get into it in a bit, but I mean, you have a lot of award-winning restaurants and chefs at Pearl.
We have had a really good run the last few years, but we've also had an especially good month.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would say
exactly.
So. Yeah, and Jeff, you've had a good month too.
Yeah, we sure did.
So of course, Southerleigh at Pearl just won a Bib Gourmand from the Michelin Guide. So congratulations on that. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we're, of course, super honored to have that. We retained it this year. So actually, this is the second year.
Right.
That's right.
Which that's the glory of Michelin, right? Like it's every year you have to be nervous for
a
second
again.
day.
Right. You start getting nervous already for the next year.
It definitely keeps us on our toes, but no, it's a great honor.
Was it something that you set out to do, or did it just happen?
The Bib Gourmand Award, that's a really interesting question. I appreciate it. So Southerleigh now it's about 10 and a half years old. Mm-hmm. We're going on our 11th year. At Pearl, as Mike was just talking about, that was what Pearl was all about, right? It was being this kind of everywhere where San Antonio would gather for a culinary thing. So our approach way back when was, to be very approachable. Pearl at the time was up and coming. We had a lot of great restaurants there. But, right out the gate, Southerleigh was always about approachability. Like we wanted everybody to come. We wanted everybody to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I think
that's considered kind of casual. I mean,
we're, we still love to be creative. We still love to have fun. Obviously, we're in the gorgeous building. We're going to put forth really great wine and cocktails. But at the same time, we want that food to kind of be able to be approachable to everybody. So to your question, and again, I really appreciate it. To me, the Bib Gourmand is exactly what I would have wanted. So, did we build that with Michelin in mind? Well, Michelin was far out of mind when we started.
Yeah, they weren't in here.
It was exactly what we would want to win, what we're so appreciative to have won. And, with the support of the San Antonio community, we couldn't have done it without them. But that is literally the award that is all about approachability, right? It's like, excellent cooking at a great value. And that's always kind of what we wanted to be.
Yeah.
So we did not have Michelin in mind when we opened, but we were glad that Michelin kind of caught up with us in that.
Absolutely. And, in my opinion, I think they can come back and look to the right of Southerleigh and pick up Mon Chou Chou and give them one as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Southerleigh and Mon Chou Chou are two totally different styles of restaurant.
You said styles only from the cuisine and obviously the nationalities of them, but we had the exact same approach when we opened Mon Chou Chou. Was we wanted to have approachable French. That is always the first thing that comes out of our mouths when we're starting a new concept. It's like, how do we make this approachable? Because when we opened Mon Chou Chou, that was a big question for us. There was, of course, French restaurants in San Antonio. There have been for a while, and you've had some open and close, some that are still there. But we were like, well, French has never really been like this huge explosion of stuff in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So we were like, how can we make that, a place where everybody will want to come, where everybody won't be intimidated by the menu, where from afar. My biggest thing is I always want you to walk by one of our restaurants, read our menu, and you have to order everything on there. If there's 3 or 4 dishes that I'm like, I can pass on that, then we've failed in that part.
Yeah.
And,
no, you're so right. I remember the first time walking into Mon Chou Chou and looking at your menu and thinking, I want to try everything on this menu.
Thank you. That's the goal.
And then Alan tells me when we go to Southerleigh, he said, just when you go there, make sure you get the hand pies. And man,
That's so good.
so anyway,
Yeah. So, Mike, let's talk about other Michelin restaurants because Pearl is just loaded with them.
Well, first, how do you go about curating this mix of restaurants?
Well, we put a lot of effort into not only, we certainly want, to Jeff's point, you want everyone that comes there to have a great experience, but people come looking for all different things on different occasions, different days, right? So you want to have great food that sometimes like, hey, I've got 15 minutes, I'm going to walk in and get something that I can eat quickly or take with me, as opposed to like, hey, I'm going to come and sit down at Mon Chou Chou or Isidore or someplace like that. So, we do specifically as spaces come open, we literally have, it's sort of like preparing, maybe for the NFL draft. Like we have we have like a war room, and a document where we list out like, hey, what are the types of cuisine that we're missing? What are the types of experiences we're missing? Do we have, from like we use a very elaborate, like $1 through $4 sign price point, do we have something for everyone? So that when people come and they want to, have date night or have a business dinner, we have something for them. But if there's a family of 6 that's coming on a Monday night to watch a movie, that there's something for the family and the kids, right? So that's literally where we start from. And then we look at like, who are the people, who are the operators capable of doing something like this, right? Where we know that people are going to have great food and a great experience because we want the same thing that Jeff said.
Sure.
And then it's the balance, right? Because we want Jeff and Philippe and Jerome to be Jeff and Philippe and Jerome. We don't want them to behave differently because they're at Pearl. I think that's part of the draw as well, is that we have independent. Now Jeff, the Southerleigh group now has multiple restaurants, but started off, as a single operation.
Very much so.
Right. So, that's part of the magic, I think, of Pearl too, is that you go into these restaurants and you see the actual people that are operating them. You see the people behind it who have poured everything into it. And that experience, going to Mon Chou Chou without seeing Philippe or without seeing Fabian, it's not. And now you can even go and you can see Chef Laurent's mom. She works there too, which is fantastic.
Yep,
that is wild.
She's delightful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's amazing. But it is absolutely true. Susie and I wish I had already been to Pullman Market. She had never been. I'm showing her Pullman Market, and that's how we met Kevin Fink.
Yes,
he's behind the counter making pizzas. And Kevin owns all of Pullman Market and all of those restaurants there. So it's amazing.
Kevin has also had a really good month. Like Southerleigh, Ladino maintained their Bib Gourmand, and then inside of the Pullman family, Isidore won a star, and also a green star for sustainable practices.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
He won.
I heard that. I read that.
One of his spots in Austin. Won those last year. I wasn't super familiar either.
Emmer and Rye,
right? The namesake. And then Nicosi, also won a star. So which for the city was our second and our third.
Yeah.
But I've seen Kevin in the kitchen behind the counter at 8:00 at night on his own birthday working, right? Because that's just how he's wired.
Yeah. And Mesquite also, Mesquite, yes, also won an award. Is that correct?
Yes, they also received Bib Gourmand, and for them it was the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes.
That's amazing. So when we talk about Pearl, and Mike corrected me a long time ago, it's not the Pearl, it's Pearl. And I have such a hard time, but I try really hard not to say the Pearl.
If I can, don't put an apostrophe S on Southerleigh.
Right.
No, everybody always Southerleigh.
So Pearl has a larger footprint than just the place, what used to be the brewery, the Pearl Brewery. It's larger than that. Where all does it cover?
Sure. The original property, when we purchased it, in 2002, was about 23 acres. And we had, at the time, acquired some other property kind of to the east and to the west, even a little bit to the north of what people know, like north of Grayson Street. So there are now, there's 2 new residential, meaning apartment buildings that are going up on the west side of the river. One of them is already open. The other one will be opening soon. And there's a restaurant there called Otto's Ice House.
Yes.
So
I haven't been to Otto's yet, but I've heard great things about it.
You should go check it out. It's got good food, also great patio and outdoor
Pretty
music.
Pretty casual, isn't it? Burgers and things like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
True Texas Ice House style.
Nice.
Love it.
But there'll be 2 more concepts coming there. We 4 months ago broke ground on a second hotel, right? So Hotel Emma will have a sister property.
Oh, wow.
That will be suite style. So like a bedroom with a door inside of the hotel room, which, is kind of rare.
Yeah.
But then we also have properties, in the Credit Human building, like right off Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
So we had a concept that just opened over this past weekend called Cape Bottle Room, which is features kind of wines of South Africa.
Okay.
Which is super fun. And it's a small space, very, very cozy, but the husband and wife that run it are fantastic. So you should go check that out. And we have 2 new concepts coming in that building. So with the new kind of footprint of Pearl, as it builds out, it'll be almost 45 acres.
Wow.
So roughly double what it started.
Wow.
So, while we're, 15 years kind of into this iteration of the brewery, in the next 5 to 7 years, it'll continue to change and grow.
Yeah.
Right.
And what I love about Pearl is, as you said, there is something for everyone. You have your fine dining, you have your family spots, you have a cool park where kids can, with splash pads and, and music. You have music as well.
Sure. We really want it to be a place where you can, and it's fantastic to sit here and talk about food. Certainly, please come get some. But, we also want people to come in, hey, bring a book, you know what I mean? And everyone kind of has their favorite spot at Pearl because just the atmosphere, and yes, there'll be music going on. There'll be a movie happening in the park. There's always hopefully something. But you can just come and kind of be yourself because the people watching is also
Farmers
fantastic.
market.
It is really nice, yeah.
And what Mike just said is one of the most important things I think that, Pearl really did to how you kind of opened, which was make a gathering place. We look at that, and when we're talking about doing restaurants outside of Pearl, we're typically having a discussion about destination restaurants versus kind of what Mike was just talking about. We have this beauty thing of being at Pearl where, people are there and they're coming, and it's not necessarily like you woke up in the morning and you said, we're going to Southerleigh. Like you do, thank you. But at the same time, you might just happen to be walking by, or you might just happen to have showed up for the farmer's market or something else. And so we certainly appreciate that.
Wow, that's great. Well, Jeff, I wanted to go back to you. So Southerleigh is, just to go over, you have Southerleigh, which is at Pearl. You have Mon Chou Chou, and then you also have Southerleigh Haute South. Do I say that correctly?
Yeah, you said that. You said that correct.
And that is at the Rim.
It is.
And those are all under the Southerleigh family of restaurants. What is your position? I know you're one of the owners.
Yes.
You're the chef? Are you the main chef? Or
Yes, for the most part. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I've been a chef for about 30 years now. Gosh, I'm getting old, but and so I oversee everything culinarily speaking. We have chefs for each individual concept. So Laurent at Mon Chou Chou, Aaron Hubera at Southerleigh, Eric Aquino at Haute South, and so we the chefs will do stuff on a daily basis, but I kind of oversee everything. Which is very typical. I'm also always working with, the good people at Pearl or, other stuff like what are the upcoming things we're going to do? What are we going to work on? How are we going to drive people? As well as, what kind of new stuff can we get into?
Yeah. It seems like y'all are such a great team, though, because you're really good in the kitchen, obviously, and all the things you do back there and making sure that that's running smoothly. Philippe, master customer service. I mean, he is the Mr. Customer Service San Antonio. And then Jerome just seems like he has this mind for business. I bet you he looks at every line item of everything that's ever been written.
He does, especially for the expansion part of stuff, like when we're looking at new concepts or how we can work those. I mean, he's really on top of that.
So what a great team.
Well, and also one of the Culinary Institute, of course, is at Pearl. And in speaking to them and a lot of the students, a lot of them come and use your kitchen as a place for learning as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So our chef at Southerleigh right now, currently, Aaron Hubera was a student of CIA, a graduate of CIA San Antonio. So, it kind of speaks to the way. Yes. We always have students coming in and out and going through, and we're proud to see them go on and do other things. But they'll spend some time with us, or they'll stay like Aaron. With us.
It's a place. Like you said, it's a place for community to come together. But as business owners as well, it seems like it's such a great environment for that type of thing as well, and for coming together and doing things together and.
Absolutely. You brought up the business side of things too earlier, and I know we were briefly talking about. I have to shout out to Allison, my wife, because she is the business side of things. She's the one that holds us kind of all together and make sure that you were talking about crossing, T's and dotting I's. Literally, no menu goes past her. No little bit of any kind of business stuff.
Now, I know she's very involved in the San Antonio Restaurant Association, right?
She is.
What is her background? Is she a chef or?
No, she's not. But she's been in hospitality about as long as I have.
Okay.
So she started in hospitality about 30 years ago as well. We both lived down in Houston at the time. We actually moved here to open Hotel Valencia together. I was the executive chef, and then she was in marketing. And and that was in 2002.
Okay.
She went on a little bit and went on to Rackspace for a moment, doing customer relations at Rackspace and account management and stuff like that. And then I called her back in shortly thereafter to help us kind of.
We need you here.
Yeah, we absolutely need you here. So she's always been in hospitality. And she has, to your point, she'll chair the San Antonio Restaurant Association next year.
Very cool. Very cool. Michael, I wanted to talk a little bit about Carriquay. So I think we were all kind of surprised that it closed. It's such a beautiful building. And, whoever designed it just did an amazing job. Do you already know what's going to be going in there? Because that's a hot spot. It's got to be a lot of people lined up to get in there.
Yes, we did have had and still have a lot of interest in the space. We do know what's coming in, and it's a little premature. Unfortunately, I can't quite tell you about it yet. But I will tell you about it soon, as soon as we're able to.
We thought we were going to get the hot news right here.
I thought he was going to get the scoop. So I thought I'll just slip it in there. Maybe he'll let it.
We looked at a number of options there because it is a beautiful space. Unfortunately, the previous concept didn't take quite as well as we had hoped. But we have something that we're really excited about that'll have a little bit of a rethinking of how we use the main building, the patio, and what we call the rock house, which is that secondary building outside all together.
Okay.
And it'll be coming because, to your point, the not much needs to be done to the building. It's already beautiful. It's got a huge kitchen, so it's ready to go. So there'll be a quick turn on that, and that'll be open, by end of the second quarter.
Oh, wow. Well,
All right, we'll have to wait.
There's a huge kitchen. I want a huge kitchen.
Yeah.
Pearl.
That's right.
That's
I don't
why
have any
it's
huge kitchens.
that's
at
why
Pearl.
it's rare because one common thing we have at Pearl is everyone wants a bigger kitchen and more storage.
Well, when you're
I'm
trying to
sure.
stick a restaurant into something built in the
Yeah, right,
1800s, you know,
That'd be kind
we
of
were,
that's right.
yeah.
True. I was going to ask that question actually. You know, with so many different, you know, and like you said, you know, each business or restaurant within Pearl, you know, maintains their identity and their personality.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work with keeping with the integrity of, you know, of Pearl?
Well, you know, we try to lay out guidelines, you know, to the point Jeff made a minute ago about Allison, and we're all in hospitality, right?
Yeah.
So we all start from a place of wanting to treat people, whether the guests or employees, the same way. And so I think if you lay those rules out, and that's what you look for in partners, you know, after that we're all in this together.
Yeah.
So as long as we have that, we try to let everyone's personality come out through the business. Now, you know, Jeff may have comments. Let's turn his microphone off for a second. But you know, that's really what we're looking for, Susie.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it's such a beautiful environment. I mean, just going there and walking the grounds itself, it really is. It's just beautiful, and there's so much to see and so many places to pop into and so many cool things to. I don't know. It's really neat.
Well, that's part of the original design. And, you know, it's just not how most real estate is done. And it's funny when we have other real estate professionals that come, you know, they look at the big open spaces and, you know, they're like, well, you should put a parking lot there. You should put a building, meaning something to generate revenue.
Right.
And we think, you know, that the magic is created in those open spaces. That's why people want to live there. That's why people want to have their offices there, you know, to be able to get out and go for a walk along the river. You know, we have a beautiful stretch of the San Antonio River that runs right through. So, you know, we kind of thank them for their advice and keep, you know, and then that's some of the challenge of what we have to do as we expand, you know, to make sure that we still have those places.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about some of the events that you guys have coming up there at Pearl, because you always have so much going on during the holiday season.
Susie, why don't we do this? Why don't we stop here
Let's
and take
do a commercial,
break?
and then we'll get into that
come back
after.
and talk
Okay,
about those
perfect,
events.
perfect. That's
All
good.
right, we'll be
Okay.
right back.
We always forget about that commercial break.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. Susie, you know, one of our biggest audience members is restaurant owners or people that are thinking about getting into restaurants.
Yes.
And from talking to them, the biggest issue they have in running a restaurant is their POS system.
Absolutely. It's such an important, of course, part of being a restaurant owner.
Yeah, and some of them they're just these big behemoth software companies that do so much it just gets. San Antonio POS is who we recommend because San Antonio POS is locally owned, locally managed, and you get local service.
Absolutely. And we've heard some restaurant owners who have been in such a pickle. They've needed to get a representative out there to fix something on their POS system because it is so important, and they haven't been able to get a hold of somebody or get somebody out there. You know, they'll tell them it's 3 days before we can get somebody out there, and that is not workable. Where with San Antonio POS, because they are local, they're there and ready to help.
They're right away. San Antonio POS uses SkyTab, which is a software that was made for the hospitality industry, and it has everything you already want. But the first thing that our friend David Dykin that owns San Antonio POS, he'll come out and he'll sit with you and find out exactly what your processes are and design it for your restaurant.
Yeah, you know, and one of the reasons, you know, because we are really picky about who we work with, even sponsors. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, they are.
You're not picky. You work with me.
Yeah. I'm very picky.
All right.
But David is amazing. You know, he has a heart like we do, you know, as far as the restaurant owners go, where he really cares and he goes in there. He wants the restaurant to succeed.
And he's been doing this more than 30 years, so he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, exactly.
Yeah.
The other cool thing about San Antonio POS is and that system is there's no hidden costs.
That's right.
So a lot of different systems, you know, they charge for their gift cards, they charge for loyalty programs, they charge for all of those different types of things where it's all included.
Yeah, and not only that, right now they have a special. If you have a San Antonio POS put into your system, afterwards, you'll get $5,000 back. That helps to cover the cost for your training, helps to cover the cost of any downtime that you had while switching. It really is a great opportunity.
It is a great program. Exactly. Yeah. So David Dyken is the individual that you want to get a hold of. He owns San Antonio POS, and as we said, amazing fella. And you can go to his website. Alan, his phone number is
210-723-6075.
Make sure you say that San Antonio Restaurants or the Flavors of Texas sent you.
That's right. And you can also go to our website, which is theflavorsoftexas.com. Scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see a banner that says San Antonio POS. Click on that, and it takes you right there.
Absolutely.
All right. And we are back. This is The More You Know, the better it tastes. And today we have Michael Joergensen and also Jeff Balfour. And Mike is with Pearl, and he knows anything and everything about what's going on at Pearl and everything that's ever happened at Pearl.
Which is a lot.
Which is a lot. And, of course, Jeff is with the Southerleigh Group. Yes, Southerleigh. You have Southerleigh Haute South. You have Mon Chou Chou. And you also now have Boiler House. That's something that's kind of new to your little organization, isn't it?
That is. We're very happy to be there. It kind of, made sense. I think Mike Sutter actually mentioned that we were on each side of it. So it was kind of like, let's embrace our
Boiler House has
brother.
been there, but had a different owner, and you're maybe making a little bit of change, but it's in between Southerleigh and Mon Chou Chou.
It is.
What kind of food do you have there?
So it's a Texas Hill Country style menu. It has been for quite a while. We focus on wine and some game and a lot of very curated steaks and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
But we're working on the menu all the time over there. We went through one minor menu change right when we took over, and we just actually came out of a meeting last week to kind of get together and do some more changes to the menu. So for the time being, that's what Boiler House will do. It'll keep evolving into something that becomes more us. Over time.
Do you have more unusual? I don't know. Do you have more unusual things on the menu? Like do you have quail, like Texas quail and things like that? Or
we did, and the quail.
That's the one
I think
away.
the quail went away, but it might be coming back again. But like the wild boar lasagna, some dishes like that.
Yeah, because I get people from time to time that ask me where to go to get more wild, gamey type stuff, and so that would be a choice.
Absolutely, boiler should always be at the top of the list, and game is very popular in South Texas. When we put it on any menu, in particular, we're always amazed at how much it sells and how enthusiastic people are about it.
Yeah, I used to work in San Marcos. I had another career before doing all this food stuff, and there was a place that had venison chili every year, and it was incredible.
Absolutely.
And, it's always good to get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, exciting things to come at Boiler. Like I said, we're going to keep kind of slowly evolving that and kind of making it a little bit more us every day, and then look to the future and what it could be.
Very cool.
All part of the process.
So how is it curating another menu?
Oh, it's fun. It's fine. It's I kind of always come in. I'm to that age now and been doing it long enough. Where I let my young guys be enthusiastic and excited and kind of get happy with the trends. And then my job is to make sure that everybody stays sane and doesn't go too crazy. I threaten people. You can only ferment so many items on the menu. You can only sous vide so many of this. And that's kind of where I come in. Even to where we had this kind of important catering function on Saturday night. So I was there and, this needs more salt. No, guys, don't stack that so high. That's where I come in and kind of let their creativity show through,
awesome.
But, also make sure that it's going out the way that I would put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you have a happy kitchen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So, Mike, tell us, so Pearl has so many amazing events all the time. But holiday season, you guys really blow it out of the water. So talk about some of the events you guys have going on.
Yes, thank you. We this year we will close the year right around 300 events.
Wow.
Now, and it starts our biggest event we do every week. And during the holidays in the fall, we do it 3 times a week, which is our farmers market. So every Saturday and Sunday all year, but starting in the middle of September all the way through Christmas, we have night markets on Wednesday nights.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And now that the weather's beautiful outside, so it's a great time to come and stroll.
I
And we
love
have a
that.
lot of farmers and arts and crafts, and then people, our tenants, right? So Southerleigh pops out, Boiler House pops out. A lot of the the Pearl operators, you'll get them also. You can go into their space, but they'll also be out on the sidewalk. And, what we try to have, Susie, is a little bit of something going on all the time. And sometimes it's more active, like dance classes or things happening. Yoga, yoga has, if you guys haven't ever been to Pearl for yoga night, now we actually do it twice.
Really?
It's amazing. It's taken on a life of its own. And in a couple years ago, we would turn it off in the summer because we're like, oh, it's too hot.
Right.
And people complained. So we started doing it again.
People
It's
like
amazing.
hot yoga.
It is hot yoga without any kind of enclosure.
Right. That's right.
But yeah, we'll have 400 people in the park in the middle of property doing yoga on, Tuesday nights
I'll
and
only
Thursday
do it
nights.
if I could do it over the splash pad.
We can get you really close to the splash pad, Alan. So, during the holidays, you're right. Q4, there are more events than any other. So in addition to additional food events, music events, we have tons of shows at Jazz Texas, tons of shows at Stable Hall, and a couple of other food events that are just open to the public. As we get into December, this year I think will be our 11th or 12th annual menorah lighting with
cool.
Young and Jewish San Antonio. So that's become a tradition. And again, because we all love food, the last couple years we've had food out as well, so that you can come and get matzo ball soup, or you can come and get latkes, you know what I mean, with it,
right.
And and this year it is on a Wednesday night with one of those night markets, which means we'll have
fun.
10,000 people there for the menorah lighting. So those things are kind of traditions at Pearl. And we always want there to be things. We'll do a few huge events throughout the year.
Right.
The markets draw a ton of folks, but otherwise it's a lot of things that are going on in certain parts of property, so you can participate if you like.
Right. Awesome. And we can check the website, right, to see the different.
Absolutely. The website and the best, probably the best two ways to stay looped in. There is an event page on the website. You can also follow on Instagram and Facebook. And really the best way probably is to sign up for the electronic newsletter, which goes out every other week. And that will have details of all the things that we're doing. And then we get content from, Jeff and people like Jeff that have, if they have restaurant specials going on, if they have the retail stores have specials, we're publicizing what all of our independent operators are doing.
So you just go to the Pearl website, and there's a way to sign up for a...
Yes, when you go there, that should be the first thing that pops up is a sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah, and for those of you guys listening, by the time you hear this, our magazine will be out, and there will be Pearl will be featured in the magazine, as well as we'll have a list of all of the different events that are happening in the next few months. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah.
That'll
Now
be
I'm
the place
excited.
to go.
Yeah. So I know that last year, I think it was Savor. I think when. I think it was last year that you were on. We chatted with April from CIA.
Yes.
And I think Savor was having a holiday event. So anyway, you can find different things at different restaurants.
Yes, absolutely. The restaurants, especially at this time of year, there are so many events going on. There are guest chefs coming in, all kinds of special programming. I know we got to see both of you at supper.
Oh my gosh,
Chef
that was so
Chef
cool.
Geronimo has and
amazing.
James and David and the team there, Josh, they have really done a good job of reviving, what was originally when the hotel opened, because Hotel Emma, in November this year is celebrating its 10-year or celebrated its 10-year anniversary. And they had this supper chef series, and Chef Geronimo has done a really good job of bringing that back, in conjunction with the new chef's counter, where you can kind of sit and do a tasting menu right in front of the kitchen.
It was such a cool experience, and it's something that the public can go and experience. It's almost a private chef counter for 6 people, I think.
Yes, it can max out at 6 people, and you have a very intimate experience with all the food being made right in front of you.
It was really a cool experience, and the food was fantastic. So anyway.
You mentioned Stable Hall. Is it Stable Hall?
Stable Hall.
Tell me a little bit more about that. It's kind of new, but there's a lot of live music. And what else goes on there?
Correct. So Stable Hall was for a long time known as Pearl Stable, and we relaunched it in January of last year. So it's just a little over 18 months kind of in the making. And it's been reimagined, redesigned as a music venue, right? A live music venue. So there was a mezzanine built in, world-class audio visual, a really amazing green room for the artist, and it will hold standing room on the main floor and seats upstairs,
Oh, wow.
almost 1,000 people.
Wow.
So we've been working on shows. We just, in November announced a partnership with a new company called Dayglow Presents, and they're based out of New York. They have music buildings in little cities like New York and Chicago and Nashville and Vegas and Southern California. So yeah, we're working on really beefing up the programming because we really want there to be shows there, 4 or 5 days a week, all year.
Yeah.
And it's something, that we can take advantage of, especially in the summer. When, that building is, it's funny, people complain sometimes that it's chilly, right? Because the air conditioning is so good. So, we really want to drive that to property, and we have Jazz Texas on site, and Doc Watkins does an amazing job.
Yeah, I'm going to a Christmas show in a couple of weeks.
Right, as you and half of San Antonio.
Yes.
So, between Jazz Texas having 4, 5, 6 shows a week, Stable Hall, Otto's Ice House has music Thursday through Sunday every week outside on their patio right along the river. And there's music at Sternworth, in the bar at Hotel Emma. So we really want to drive music because, again, to your point earlier, Susie, we love what it does for the property, but it also brings a lot of people that then are going to come and, go to Chou Chou or go to Southerleigh or go to Ladino or wherever for dinner, you know what I mean? And kind of then go to a show.
Yeah.
So, Stable Hall, if you haven't seen it, and if you guys would like to come to a show, just let me know which show you want to come to, and I'll get you tickets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
100%.
sounds wonderful.
I love that you're doing the night markets as well. It reminds me of every year going to New York and going to the pop-up markets at night when it's
Bryant
cold.
Park.
Yes,
The Bryant Park
My
Christmas
favorite,
market's amazing.
Yes,
Yep.
my favorite one. And that's kind of, it reminds me with the restaurants being involved. And so Jeff, tell us about some of the holiday excitement you guys have going on at your Southerleigh group.
Well, we're just, we're booking right now parties. So if you guys, are interested, definitely get in now because that's going to be our big thing through the holidays. We always do a lot of private parties, but also, having, access for smaller groups as well.
Yeah. So I always wondered about Southerleigh. Wonderful food, and it kind of has a Louisiana bend to it, I guess, right? More seafoody, but there's so many good things there. But the brewery part of it, you brew your own beer there.
We do.
Was that important to you as you started designing it, or was that an afterthought? It's odd that you have beer there, and it's wonderful that you have it, but you would be very successful with if you didn't have it.
The complete story is probably way too long for the time we have left. But, I definitely wouldn't say it was odd there because it felt right.
Okay.
So if you go back to about 2011, I'm walking the grounds of Pearl, which at the time there was, a couple of restaurants, Il Sogno and La Gloria had just opened.
Il Sogno.
And, had been open for a minute, but there wasn't a lot. So like walking through these spaces and kind of exploring and saying, what could be here, what could be there. There was a 3 meal a day on this side. I'm not going to get into names. And one was going to be a steakhouse, but that was always the one as we walked into that building, aside from the beauty of the building. And actually at the time, it wasn't
building.
beautiful. It was beautiful on the outside, but the
That's
inside was, that high school green and safety yellow and all this stuff. But for me, it was always about, instantly when I walked in, I was like, this is the place that I would want to be, like if this became possible. Because, I like beer more than I appreciate wine. I love wine, but I don't, beer I was really far more into. And I really felt like the cuisine that was important to me was a little bit more conducive to that feeling in that space. So it was only natural.
Did you grew up in kind of New Orleans, right? Or
I
your
grew up in
grandmother
Galveston,
did?
Texas.
Oh,
So,
Galveston,
yeah,
okay.
Well,
on
and
the
I think
coast,
I think also that is so. As a chef, it makes sense that beer is because there's so many. Just learning the flavors that you can create.
Oh, absolutely. And being able to, when we first opened, and kind of to your point about restaurants standing on its own, right? It's part of the evolution of Southerleigh. Because when we first opened, the brewery was, a very, very important part of the cuisine. And, we kind of mixed in. It never was, I would say, like 20% of the menu really focused on beer stuff. But there was always this kind of like subtle crossover. And then the restaurant itself kind of evolved to be, a little bit kind of just growing in parallel, but in different ways. So where the beer always kind of started complementing the food there. Since then we've taken off any kind of beer elements, and it's still amazing how I'm talking about on the food menu, right? And so that just happened naturally, and that happened. But the beer still just lives and complements the food so well. Our brewer JC Norris is just phenomenal. Same situation. His creativity, I don't even try to get in his world. That's too much science for me. Like I'm a cook's cook, but I do. I of course get to taste these things going out. Sometimes I have to edit the names of the beers if they get a little too risky. Those kinds of situations. But the beer just so complements the food, and how could you not? To your point about it being, how could you not celebrate beer in that space?
Exactly. Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. Wow.
So are you adding some special things to your menu for the holidays?
We're going through our menu changes right now. We won't really particularly. We kind of learned early on that people kind of loved us for what we did all the time. So if we pivoted hard, and I think our very first year open, we were like, we're going to do a New Year's Eve party. Biggest failure I think we've ever had. It sucked the wind out of the feeling of Southerleigh trying to do a multi-course. I mean, we're all coming from fine dining and stuff like. So we're like, oh yeah, Philippe and we're going to hit a multi-course menu for New Year's. We're going to book the thing, and it was not only. I mean, it was a success. We made the money part of it, but it's just the feeling. You walked in, and
what about Mon Chou Chou?
And same. I mean, they have these kind of heartbeats that we don't mess with. So we just want you to come and enjoy, what we do on a daily basis. And of course, we'll throw some touches here or there, that
which is fantastic.
Kind of do the holidays. But,
so, Mike, you had mentioned that there's some menu items that you will fight if they take them off. So what are your
Jeff
faves?
and I would have to have words. No, it's been. Oh, you don't know what those menu items are? Well, when I go to Southerleigh, I love the snapper throats.
Yeah,
when you can get them as a starter.
Popular.
But the problem is, as a starter, I also love the deviled eggs and the cornbread. And if you're there on the weekend, the biscuits are insane. But
never had the biscuits.
Those are every day now. And to your point, we actually call them weekend biscuits on the menu because
you're okay.
They were only on weekends.
And plus, it's like a weekend biscuit, right?
Marketing.
It was.
Exactly. That's right.
There you go.
And then I get the cracker crusted redfish almost every time, and I always go there. And I did a couple weeks ago. I got there's a relatively new pastrami pork chop, which is really good. But I go there and I have good intentions, but I love that redfish, and then and the carrot cake to finish is fantastic.
Oh, the snapper throats.
See, this is coming from a big foodie here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The snapper throats are always such a thing.
Snapper
for us.
throats.
Yeah, I mean, nobody else had them when y'all did. I don't think anybody has them now.
Nobody has them.
That was huge whenever you started.
I want to go right now.
We did. I didn't put them on the original menu at all when we first opened. And this very wonderful, glorious woman, Terry Thompson Anderson, a famous Texas cookbook author, was there a few days after we opened. We had mutual friends, and she had kind of helped me, with some of the stuff. And she sat down and she's like, Jeff, let's talk about this. She's like, first of all, your pork chop sucks. You got to change that. And I was like, absolutely. I hear you. We did. Obviously, we've been through many pork chops at this point. But she was like, and why didn't you put the snapper throats on? And I said, it's something I grew up with, but I don't think San Antonio will get it.
So you have to tell me.
They'll understand.
I don't think I've ever heard of snapper throats. Tell me what it is.
That's everyone's reation, but I guarantee you've had them at a sushi restaurant at some point in your life. It is the collar of the red snapper.
Okay.
But like I said, every sushi restaurant will have some form of grilled collar. So to that story, we said, you know what, we'll give it a try. We'll do it in the simplest way possible and the best way we know how, which is bread it and drop it in the fryer and make it nice and crispy and succulent. And then it became what it became. And never saw that coming, never planned that. And San Antonio really embraced it. And you absolutely cannot take it off the or get enough.
The people that because I'm there enough that I know half the servers.
Yes.
And so
they know what you want.
when they come up to me, they'll be like, "Hi, Mike, welcome in. We have snapper throats," or
You have to bribe your servers.
or like we have 3 left. Would you like me to put your order in right now?
Wow.
So yeah,
well,
they
and
know.
to your point that nobody was doing them, Alan, it was when we started, our fish vendor was like, we'll just give them to you because we just throw them away.
Oh, wow.
That lasted about 2.5 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Which was fine with me too, because I didn't want to scale them in the kitchen. So I was like, yeah, we'll buy them. And y'all
Yeah.
scale them.
Yeah, right.
That's
so
amazing.
Wow.
So we're running
that
out
was
of time,
great.
but a couple of things we haven't even covered yet. Can you tell us some things that are coming to the Pearl? I know there's an amazing new bar that's going to be opening.
Yes, we're very excited that here in the end of November, Chef Jen Dobberton of Best Quality Daughter, who originally started off at Pearl at, her place was called Tenko Ramen in the food hall, which was fantastic. She is opening a bar right outside the front of Emma called Julette.
It's where the Blue Box used to be.
It's a space formerly occupied by Blue Box for, they were at Pearl for 10 plus years. Mm-hmm. And Jen has a really cool concept. So first off, the name, Julette was a kind of stepfather figure to James Beard, right? And he's who kind of became, again, a very influential person in his life. Mm-hmm. And loved, evidently, James Beard, evidently, according to Jen, loved a good cocktail and a good cocktail party. So, and if you've, Best Quality Daughter doesn't really push their drinks a lot. They have a very small bar, but their drinks are quite good.
Yeah, they're fun drinks.
They're very
really
fun and they're very creative and they have great names. So that space has been transformed to where the little outdoor patio right there is going to be beautiful. A whole new wood bar and an upstairs area. There's actually an external staircase that's been put in, so you can go upstairs, and that room can be a private room, and they actually have little like karaoke rooms inside. So super fun for parties and groups. Mm-hmm. And we did a tasting with her a couple weeks ago, so she's got 6 or 8 kind of like light bites. It won't have heavy food, but the cocktails and stuff are going to be super fun. So we're really excited to have that. Because we don't quite have anything like that on property, and again, it's in a great location.
Yeah,
and Jen is amazing. I mean, what a fantastic.
Yeah, she's amazing. We're lucky to have her.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there anything else coming that we can talk about, or?
We have a couple of new, I can give you a flavor of what's coming. So as I mentioned before, we have a couple new spots that are opening on the west side of the river, so close to where Otto's is. Mm-hmm. Otto's has been open about 6 months. So both opening in the second quarter of 2026. We have a restaurant that will be in the Cooper's Row apartment building that is Spanish. So, which is something we don't have on property yet. Mm-hmm. And then we have...
Like tapas and things like that?
Correct. Okay. Exactly. And then we have coming in the Cooper's Row North building, so kind of just up the river and adjacent to the new hotel that's under construction, there'll be a restaurant that'll be all 3 day parts. And they'll have a patio that kind of opens up out towards the river, which is, again, something Otto's is the first. We don't really have a lot. Supper, the patio on the side, you get a view of the river, but we don't really capitalize on the river. So we want to change that over time. So those 2 are coming. And then we have over in the Credit Human building off Broadway, we're going to have a concept that is seafood forward.
Oh, wow.
And a concept that is sandwiches.
So that's where Arasta used to be, and
Arasta is the smaller space that's right on Broadway.
Okay.
And that is the sandwich concept.
Okay.
And then the space that used to be Alora
yes.
is the one that'll be a little more.
That's going to be okay. Wow, very good.
I didn't realize that the Credit Human, the restaurants. I didn't realize that was part of Pearl.
It is a highly complex lease situation that I will not even try to explain.
Right. That's all we need to know. It's part of Pearl.
we own the land,
awesome.
And Credit Human owns the building or something like that. But yes, we're in charge of the tenant. So like Limitus Bespoke, the little cool custom tailor shop that's over there, they are a Pearl tenant.
Wow, how cool.
Well.
Very cool.
To throw it out there for people, because as we talked about, this is, Pearl is a place where you want to go as a family, you hang out, bring your book. It's such a cool environment and space. And so, as Alan was talking about earlier, before we started recording, if you were just dropping by to grab something, grab a gift card or whatever, it's free parking for 30 minutes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, all the surface lots, around property, whether it's kind of in front of Hotel Emma, by La Gloria, or underneath 281, all around. Yes, you can park free for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
See, this was new information, and it came about by I went there to buy a gift card on Saturday,
I decided to bring it up
a mile away because I didn't want to pay.
but yeah, so if the holidays are coming up and you want to get gift cards at all the different spots in Pearl, you can run by and do that.
Absolutely right. Thanks, Susie, for that.
We all come back?
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anytime.
This is great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
The only bad thing is that now I'm like, I just want to go spend the day and go to every spot or spend. I guess I need to spend several days.
All right.
Which is not a bad thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
That's a good thing. Lots of amazing stuff happening down there. We're proud to have that as part of San Antonio. We'll be back again next week, or actually a week after next, and we'll have another wonderful podcast. So be sure and tell your friends about this podcast.
Yes.
The more you know, the better it tastes, and we have some great library of interesting interviews.
Well, and this is an example of the amazing things that we have going on in our city.
That's right. There's a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, so much to celebrate. And Pearl is just such a huge part of that. So as you guys are listening,
That's
head
right.
out there.
Do you guys know who had more Michelin recognition between San Antonio and Dallas?
Must be San Antonio.
It's really cool. It's amazing.
And so many of them are right in your little area.
Think of how far we have come.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Well, thank you all both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, be sure and tell your friends about this podcast, and also
Eat local.
Eat local. Support our great local restaurants.
Exactly.
All right. Until then, bye, guys.